Now, we're still getting some earnings reports here after Labor Day, including a bunch of key retailers. So I decided to do an extra video here to cover some of these hot names because normally we don't get to them during regular earnings season. So what are they? What are these secret hot retailers? They're ones you all know, but let's dive right in and see. So what are those hidden retail hot stocks? Well, the first one out the gate is Lululemon. And as you can see, it has a pretty good earnings track record. It is coming off a rare miss last quarter, surprisingly, but shares didn't care. They're still surging and still climbing to new all-time highs here as everybody expects now that those stores have reopened. They have a good online business. The yoga pants and the rest of their clothing line is on trend, especially with millennial and Gen Z buyers now. Gen Z still loves them. But Lulu, one of the premier retailers out there. I own it in my own personal portfolio, but how much are you willing to pay for the shares? That's the question. How good are these earnings really going to be? We're going to find out, but this is definitely going to be one to watch. Then switching over to another red hot stock, I also own this one in my personal portfolio, RH, formerly known as Restoration Hardware. Their last two misses were way back in 2016, and now these shares are too off to the races after we saw what happened with Williams and Sonoma and Wayfair and some of the other housing related and work from home related stocks. That's where Restoration Hardware falls in too. How many people are buying new outdoor furniture because they're staying home on their staycation? How many bought desks for their kids because now they're going to be home, doing schoolwork all year long or the next 6 months or however long it's going to be? A lot of people buying new houses right now, including second homes. And yes, RH is on the upper end. And when the stock market does well, so does RH. So this these shares are building momentums here too. But again, how much are you willing to pay for this company? This is one of the ones that's in Berkshire Hathaway's portfolio, actually. They bought some at the end of last year, 2019, but the value may not be there much at the moment, but we will see. Can they actually execute and bring in those sales? This is the key component this quarter. Now we're going to switch over to Casey's General Stores. Now, you may not know Casey's unless you've been to small town America because they specialize in having their service stations or their gas stations with convenience stores in small towns less than 5,000 people. So you might have passed through one and seen it, but Casey's is also the fifth largest pizza chain in the United States because it's pizza out of those convenience stores, which is highly regarded actually. So in some towns, they may be the only pizzeria in the town. So what were they doing during the lockdown and the shutdown? They might have seen a decline, probably pretty considerable, on the actual gasoline side. But on the food side, did they see an improvement? We'll see. They are coming off a miss there after a nice string of beats in a row. These shares are looking to get back to the highs here. Can this earnings report get them over the top? We will see. Then we're going to switch over to GameStop. Now, I normally don't cover this one because, as you can see, it's trading, the opposite way of you want for an all-star to trade. But they have a pretty good track record of meeting or beating over the last 5 years. The only key is people think that their business is actually dead and or gone. And whether or not that is true, we will see with every quarter that goes by here. But GameStop, one of the most heavily traded out there, and I know you're all talking about it on Stock Twits, so we'll see if they're seeing the big gaming boom that's happening during the pandemic and whether or not that's going to help their sales at all. And then we're going to wrap it up with the pet supplies, Chewy. They went public last year, but the shares have really taken off here because, again, we're ordering online and having everything delivered. They're coming off a miss last quarter, but that hasn't stopped them busting out to new highs. Valuation is a concern here again, like some of these others. How much are you willing to pay for these shares, but it's got the momentum and it's in the right place at the right time during this pandemic. So this is another key one to watch this week. So after this week, things really start to wind down on the earnings scene until we get into October, and then we're going to get some of the fiscal reporters coming in, and then it'll be the third quarter earnings season in full swing in mid-October. So you don't want to miss a single episode of the Earnings All-Stars. I'm bringing them for you every week, and I will be during the third quarter earnings season in October. So be sure to subscribe. You can get us on Zacks.com/YouTube, but be sure you're in the know over there on YouTube. And I'll see you again next time with some more earnings charts.